Hello friends, welcome to Inside Cycling Initiative. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the topic that is the Katchatheevu Island issue. Okay, first we try to understand what we are going to discuss in this video. So these are the video components. First we will discuss about context, then Katchatheevu Island, where it is located, problem faced by Indian fishermen. Then we will discuss about what is the stand of the Union government, India-Sri Lanka relations, Operation Pavan, what is this is all about, significance of Sri Lanka for India, why this island is significant to Sri Lanka, as well as so why the Sri Lanka is very significant to India in terms of the bilateral relations, common membership where that means the common platforms, like for example SARC is a common platform where we are having the membership. In such way, at the end of this video, we will discuss about some of the common platforms where we are having membership, both India as well as the Sri Lanka. And finally, the conclusion we will discuss. So these are the video components we are going to discuss in this video. First, let me explain to you why we are discussing this particular topic in today's video. Because, yesterday, okay, that means Sunday, Prime Minister was commenting that during the Congress government, that means during the Indira Gandhi time, these Katchatheevu Islands actually they were given away to Sri Lanka. It was in 1974. At the time, Prime Minister was Indira Gandhi. So the present Prime Minister was claiming and he was criticizing the Congress government that Congress government, they did not care about the nation's security as well as the sovereignty. Of course, that was responded by Congress, that Congress claiming that like how you made land border agreement in 2015 with Bangladesh, in the same way we done the agreement with Sri Lanka as well. That was the Congress argument. So in this political storm, this Katchatheevu Island, obviously it was in news. So as an aspirant and as well as as an aspirant, you have to know these current issues and you should have that kind of inquisitiveness regarding so what is this issue and how it is relevant to India's security. And in this entire context, Congress government claiming that so the BJP government in 2015 they done the land border agreement, okay, that means exchange of conclaves with the Bangladesh and India. So one question to you, according to which constitution amendment the land border agreement was made between the India and Bangladesh? Okay, comment your answer. Now come back to this topic. So this the central idea of this topic is regarding the Katchatheevu Islands. First, we have to get some basic details regarding this Katchatheevu Island location. This Katchatheevu Island is present in the Park Strait. The strait is nothing but a narrow water body which connects two larger water bodies. Here, Park Strait is connecting Bay of Bengal and Indian Ocean. In this Park Strait, this Katchatheevu Island is located, and it is very proximate to the Rameshwaram, Rameshwaram place. So from Rameshwaram, this Katchatheevu is very, very nearby, and there was an agreement between India and Sri Lanka, and that agreement recognized the India-Sri Lanka maritime boundary. Now the Katchatheevu Island is present on the Sri Lankan side, of the maritime boundary. And traditionally, our Indian fishermen used to go to that place, they used to fishing in this area. But according to this agreement in 1974 and 1976, as Katchatheevu Island went towards Sri Lankan side, Indians were not allowed in this area with respect to fishing. But still, Indians were allowed to use this island for non-fishing activities, they can dry their fishing nets and they can attend the annual festival as well. And in spite of this limited access to Indians, and sometimes Indian fishermen are involving in the fishing activities, and Sri Lankan government is confiscating their fishing boats and arresting them as well. And especially in the recent economic crisis of Sri Lanka, now the Sri Lankan fishermen, they were more particular about the fishing rights in this region, and they were claiming that Indian fishermen, they are using the bottom trawling. I will tell you what is the meaning of bottom trawling. And Indian fishermen are using the mechanized boats. So their fishing capacity is more advanced compared to Sri Lankan Tamils or Sri Lankan fishermen, and they are claiming that in this area India should not be allowed, like how the India signed on the agreement. This is the Sri Lankan Sri Lankan fishermen they are demanding. So you have to know all these details. So in this entire topic, so the thing is, so who are the key stakeholders here? India, Sri Lanka and Katchatheevu Island. Okay. So we have to know what kind of agreements regarding the Katchatheevu Island, and then we should know what are the bilateral relations between the India and Sri Lanka in general, okay, how it progressed, and especially the bilateral relations between these two nations during the Rajiv Gandhi period, Rajiv Gandhi time. During this time, even India sent their Indian peacekeeping force to mediate the dispute between the Sri Lankan government and LTTE, Liberation Tigers of Tamil Eelam. Of course, this effort did not succeed, and in fact, later this beleaguered LTTE, even they assassinated our former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi as well. And at the end of the video, we will discuss about some of the military exercise between these two nations and common platforms sharing by these two nations. Now let's see the Katchatheevu Island, some of the agreements related to this particular island. Okay, Katchatheevu Island is taking spotlight ahead of the upcoming Lok Sabha elections. Regarding the Katchatheevu Island, it is uninhabited and offshore island in the Park State. Already we discussed, it is present in the Park State. Originally, it was owned by King Ramnath, present day Ramanathapuram, Tamil Nadu. Later, this island used by fishermen to dry their nets. During the British rule, this area was administered by both India as well as Sri Lanka. In 1974, okay, we already discussed that. 1974, India given away this island to Sri Lanka through a joint agreement. 2 years later, another agreement, India further given away its fishing right in this region. So first, this island we given away, and later we given away this fishing rights around this island as well. In 1976, through an exchange of letters, both India and Sri Lanka agreed to stop fishing in each other's water. During this time, both nations also recognized the international maritime boundary line as well between these two countries. So this agreement allowed Indian fishermen to access this Katchatheevu Island only for drying of their fishing nets and to attend the annual St. Anthony's festival, but it did not ensure the traditional fishing rights. So that is the reason still it is a conflicted area issue. Despite the signing of this maritime agreement between these two nations, still fishermen communities of both the countries, they are engaging in fishing activity, and even the Sri Lankan fishermen also, they did not mind till the Eelam War was broken out in 1983. And of course, this Eelam War was concluded in 2009. After that, the Sri Lankan fishermen, they keep on insisting about their fishing rights due to various factors. Issue of the Katchatheevu and this accusations about Tamil fishermen entering into Sri Lankan waters, it was very frequent, and Sri Lankan government, they are capturing their ships, and even they are arresting them as well. Okay. During this agreement, Tamil Nadu government was not taken into consideration. Actually, with respect to the sovereign issues, state government no need to consult, but if they taken into convince, that will be a good sign. For example, that was between the India and Bangladesh land border agreement. At that time, West Bengal also accused the same thing, that they were not taken into consideration. And why these Sri Lankan fishermen, they were very insisting and they were not allowing Indian fishermen a lot, because they are complaining that Indian fishermen are using this advanced technology like bottom trawling. What is this bottom trawling? Bottom trawling is a technique. So through this ocean, the bottom of the ocean will be completely sweeping of the bottom of the ocean. This not only affects the fishing, it also affects the coral reefs and a lot of the marine life as well. And mechanized boats are used by Indian fishermen contrary to the traditional boats of the Sri Lankan fishermen. These are the complaints. Mechanized boats of India, and they are highly exploitative in nature. They can have more fishing, And recent economic crisis in Sri Lanka, this is pushing the Sri Lankan fishermen for claiming their rights in a more aggressive manner. Demarcation of the international maritime boundary line. It was according to the 1976 agreement, just now we already discussed. Then the union government. At the moment, union government is claiming that this Katchatheevu island lies in the Sri Lankan side of the maritime boundary line according to the present union government stand, and it is also saying that this matter was in sub judice in the Supreme Court. So the now union government is declining to comment on this further. Suggestions. Regular patrolling is needed in this area, and regular communication network should be established between both sides, and a warning system should be in place so that when the fishermen crossing the international line, they will be warned, so that this arrests and confiscating of boats, these things can be avoided. And both Tamil Nadu CM has proposed that regular meeting and consultation of the joint working group should be reconstituted, okay, from present day. Actually, this joint working groups was established in 2016, but now they are not functioning properly. Tamil Nadu governments are demanding that the regular meetings of the joint working group will be very good. Regarding the India-Sri Lankan relationship, from ancient times we were having a good relations. Even Ashoka sent his son as well as a daughter, if you know his son and daughter name, his son and daughter to propagate the Buddhism into Sri Lanka. Both countries have a legacy of intellectual, ethnic, cultural and religious and linguistic interactions. Then Sri Lanka is India's closest maritime neighbor, and India's neighborhood first policy as well as the Sagar policy. Sagar is all about the security and growth for all in the region. In fact, India tried to improve its presence in Indian Ocean. For that as well, relation with Sri Lanka is very essential. Historically, in 1983, when Sri Lanka experienced violence, India-Sri Lanka Peace Accord, that is Rajiv Gandhi Jayawardene Peace Accord was signed in 1983. According to that, Sri Lankan government agreed that they will give special rights to Tamilians who are living in Sri Lanka. That special rights in the form of the 13th Amendment. But it was not implemented properly, and then India deployed India Peacekeeping Force to Sri Lanka, that is Operation Pavan. Later, after 2 years, Indian Peacekeeping Force withdrawn due to its failure to mediate between these two forces, that is Sri Lankan government and LTTE. In 1991, former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated by the LTTE. Then 2009, after the 25 years of civilian war, finally the conflict came to end. But in spite of that, still sometimes there are certain tensions between these two nations. Recently, in 2013, India voted against Sri Lanka. In 2009, 2012, 2013, India voted against Sri Lanka regarding the UN Human Rights Council resolutions. That means India took a stand that there are human rights violations are going in Sri Lanka. Then, in terms of defense, India Sri Lanka are conducting SLINEX, a joint navy exercise. India Sri Lanka Maldives, they are conducting Dosti, a trilateral navy exercise, and India Sri Lanka they are hold joint military exercise known as Mitra Shakti. These are the common defense exercise between these two nations. Then common platform, one is SAARC, second one is BIMSTEC, the third one is the Indian Ocean Rim Associations. These are the common platform between these two nations. Issue of concerns. Sri Lankan government depends on the government. Whenever sometimes Rajapakse oriented or their supported government comes into Sri Lanka, they are taking the pro-China stand. Even Sri Lanka subscribed to China's controversial Belt and Road Initiative. As a part of that, Sri Lanka is constructing Colombo Port City as well as Hambantota Port. Tell me guys, which port is constructing by India in Sri Lanka? Then fisherman issue, that is what we discussed in this video, and India sometimes playing a big brother role that is not at all accepting by Sri Lanka. These are some of the issues between the India and Sri Lanka. By refraining from their internal affairs and by negotiating with Sri Lanka regarding the India's developmental projects in Sri Lanka, and India should request the Sri Lanka to take their refugees. That means around 95,000 refugees they are living in Tamil Nadu who came from Sri Lanka. and if we have a good relation with Sri Lanka, and even we can request the Sri Lanka to take them back. So these are the issues, looking to be solved between these two nations. Yesterday's video question: consider the following financial institutions: Life Insurance Corporation, GAC, and New India Assurance Company Limited. How many of the above are classified as domestically systematically important insurance company? All these three are classified as domestically systematically important insurance companies. Start 2024, a new training program will be conducted by ISRO. Next, the Central Pollution Control Board CPCB constituted under the Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act 1974. Today's video question: with reference to the India-Sri Lanka relation, consider the following statement. India recently extended 1 billion credit facility to Sri Lanka. In 2022, so far India has extended 1.4 billion support to Sri Lanka through 400 million RBI currency swap. Which one is right out of these two? Mains question: India's neighborhood first policy and Sri Lanka's India's first approach had to encounter a number of composite problems which eventually shaped present day relations. Analyze. This is regarding the India-Sri Lanka mains oriented question. As we reach to the end of this video, in this video we mainly discussed about Katchatheevu Island, its location, and the history about this Katchatheevu Island issue, important agreements between the India and Sri Lanka 1974-1976, then issues regarding the Sri Lankan Tamilians, Operation Pavan, then LTTE assassination of Rajiv Gandhi, and what are the major issues between the India and Sri Lanka, defense related exercise names, common platform between these two nations, ongoing issues, and way forward. These are the topics we discussed. So this is the detailed analysis regarding the India-Sri Lanka issue, with respect to Katchatheevu. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day. Jai Hind.